Hello everyone, welcome to part 7 of Build the Millennium Falcon. In this episode we're going to have a look at issue 11 and issue 12, and I have the parts here and of course also the magazines right here, but we are not gonna focus so much on these. Instead we're just gonna have a look at the parts. So let's just get right on with it and open up the bag for issue 11 and see what's inside. Alright, so here we have all the parts from issue 11, and it's pretty simple really. Firstly we have this piece here, which is part of the bottom hull plating, and it's a pretty big piece actually, and I think this must be the place where the landing gear is supposed to go. I'm not really sure though. It's nicely weathered, but again I'm gonna paint it and all that. Then we also get this bag here containing part of the bottom framework. And there's also these two long ribs inside, and those are supposed to kind of hold the entire framework together or stabilize it later on when we get to the assembling. And then we get this piece here, which is part of the main hold wall. So it's basically just one of the sides of the main hold interior section. And then we finally get these 4 bags containing fixing screws of various types and colors. We've talked about these different types of screws earlier, so I won't go into that much detail about those here. So yeah, it really seems like we're kind of getting ready to starting assembling even more of this Millennium Falcon. But that basically covers all the parts from issue 11, and there's not really much assembly going on, as I can show you from the magazine here. It does go over some of the main hold in this area here, just talking about all the small greeblies and bits and pieces that you can actually start attaching to the walls of the interior. And the same here with all these small details that are supposed to go on the main hold wall sections. But I'm gonna wait a bit with that, and yeah. Anyways guys, let's just move on now to the parts that came with issue 12. I have the bag right here, and it looks very interesting. So yeah, let's just pop it up and see what's inside. So here are all the parts from issue 12, and before we actually start talking about all these parts here, I just have this very quick public service announcement that I want to make. Because as I was unpacking all these parts here, I actually couldn't find, I think it was this little bag here with the screws inside. So I was actually kind of panicking, thinking that they were just missing from the package, basically. But I did, as you can obviously tell, find them in the end. And in that regard, I'm just gonna quickly make this kind of warning or tip for you guys. Now, as you know, all the parts come in this bag here, and inside the bag, well, are the parts and also this paper pamphlet thingy. Now, before you throw away the bag here, do make sure to check it properly, because sometimes these small bags here with the screws, for example, can get stuck inside the corners of this bag or something. So make sure to check your bag properly before throwing it away. And the same actually goes for this paper thing here, because that was actually the case this time for me. This little bag here actually got stuck between the pages of this little paper pamphlet here. And it's very tempting to just throw it away because it's useless information really. It's just distributor information and manufacturer information. It's nothing interesting here, so it's very tempting to just toss it from the very get-go. But don't do that. Just make sure that nothing is actually stuck inside this either, because that was the case for me this time. So that's basically it. Just a quick tip for you guys, maybe to save you from some headaches in the future. So let's have a look at the pieces. As you can see, more or less the same as with issue 11. We get part of the exterior hull here from the bottom. Then we get this piece here, which is some kind of support for a pipe inside the main hold. And then we get this bag here containing some of the framework, 2 pieces of the framework, a rib again for stabilizing the framework, and again also one of those small connectors for the ribs. We also got one of those with issue 11. And then we get all these small bags here, and I have all of them now. 4 different types of screws again. I've covered those previously, so I'll just refer to a previous video. I think it was my second video. I talked about the screws. And then we also get this little guy here, which is a 2-hole connector for the framework. So that's basically it, guys. But if we actually grab the instructions for issue 12, you can actually see that they start assembling the framework now. So I honestly think that I have enough pieces now to do just a bit of assembling in this video here, and that's what I'm going to do in the minutes to follow. So just hang on while I store all the things I need, and I just need a few moments to look over the instructions and determine which pieces I need, and then I'm gonna actually start assembling. So give me a few moments. Alright, so these are all the pieces that I need for the framework. They are from issue 9, 10, 11 and 12. And from what I can read from the instructions, all these pieces can now be fitted together by screwing them together. But first I'm just gonna lay them out according to the instructions, because they kind of map out how they are supposed to go together. So I'm just gonna do that now. I'm looking at the instructions as I'm doing this, and I hope you can see the pieces clearly right now. And these ribs here, I'm gonna just put them in a pile up here. And this piece goes here. These are the small connectors for the ribs. I'm gonna leave them up here also. This goes here, and this piece should go down here. So that's the main thing. And then we have these ribs. There are 2 types of these ribs here. Some of them only have these 4 holes, and then we have these ones that have 4 holes also, but then also 2 holes at the very top. The ones with the 2 holes at the very top are the ones that are going to connect to the outer circle or radius, and then we have this one which is supposed to go on the inner circle, so to speak. And then we also have these ones for the left side here. And then the connectors, well, they are supposed to connect these ribs, obviously. So this is basically what it's gonna look like. And now I'm going to try and assemble them using the screwdriver. I need, according to the instructions, 19 of the black screws and then 8 of the long brass screws. So I'm just gonna find those, and then I'll just go right ahead and try and assemble this. So hang on. Alright, so here we have the entire assembled piece. And it was pretty straightforward really and simple. I just followed the instructions and it was pretty straightforward really. That's also why I didn't add any footage of me assembling this, because you've seen that before in previous videos, and I thought that wouldn't be that interesting. It was just a lot of fiddly work with the small screws and all that, but again, pretty straightforward. So now we have this entire piece here, which feels very nice and solid really. It's nicely interlocked between these parts here, and it feels really good. We have these ribs again that follow these lines here towards the center, and it just feels very secure at this point, and that's really nice, I think. And on the other side you can see we have this nice texture or surface kind of here, and this is basically where all the hull parts are supposed to go on. So yeah, it looks really nice and it feels really nice. And I guess that from now on, what's going to happen is that we are basically going to add on to this section here, I believe, until the point comes when the entire bottom framework is fully assembled. And at that point we can also go ahead and attach the hull parts. But that's for later videos or future videos. For now, I think this is basically it for my 7th part of this video series. I hope you enjoyed it. It was great fun to do, and I'll follow soon with my next part, where I suppose we're going to add even more to this framework here. But that's something that time will tell. For now, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and if you did enjoy it, please leave me a like and subscribe and all that. And if you have any questions or comments, of course, go ahead and leave them below. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video.